Alright. My current job is a barista at Starbucks, and I've been one for 2 years so far. Alright, the thing about Starbucks is that you have several different types of drinks. You have cold drinks, hot drinks, pastries, and you have to have great customer service skills, and you have to have good team skills. And with the frappuccinos and the different cold drinks, you have to know the different kind of syrups that go in, you got to know the different kind of milks, and you have to know the amount of ice and how long to blend. And for each drink, there's a different, every drink's got a unique different recipe, so you have to know all the different recipes, and you have to know when to add the ingredients, where to add them, and how much, and you have to know how to do the whipped cream for the top of them. And you also have to know with each drink and with each size, it coordinates different amounts of syrups. So for like a tall, which is a small, you would put the milk base, and you would do 2 pumps of the coffee base, and then 2 pumps of syrup, and then you would do whipped cream if they want it. And it goes up for a grande, it would be three of each, and then for a venti, it would be 4. And then you have the hot drinks, and with the hot drinks, you have to know how to work the espresso machine. You have to know how the different amount of milk to put in those, and you have to know how to steam it, because you have to steam it correctly in order to get the right amount of foam, because that will make the drink or it will either mess it up. And you also have to, when you do the hot drinks, you have to make sure that the espresso shots do not expire. So you have to be sure to add the milk within 10 seconds of the espresso dripping into the cup. And so when you're a barista, you have to know all these different things, because this is how you make the coffee correctly. Because if you do any of them wrong, if you put the wrong amount of syrup, or if you put the wrong amount of coffee base in any of the drinks, it will mess it up and it will change the flavor, and most of the customers will notice, because a lot of them that can't come in at my job are regulars. And also when you're a barista, you have to know about the different pastries. They have the pastry case, and that's mainly for just a display, but they keep the pastries down behind the counter in a freezer. And then you take them out of the refrigerator, and then you put them in the oven. You have several different buttons on the front, and you have to mash them, which corresponds to whatever you're making. So if you have like for instance, a pastry like a scone, you have to hit scone, and they have different quantity buttons for how many you're doing. And also we have the sandwiches, and you pull the sandwich from the refrigerator, and then you put it in the oven and hit the corresponding button to that sandwich. And also being a barista, you have to know how to do great customer service skills, because you have to be able to interact with the customers, and you have to know what they want, and you also need to know, you need to be able to know about the different drinks in order to tell them about it, because most of them ask different questions, because they like to know what they're buying, because Starbucks can be kind of expensive sometimes, and they just don't want to like waste their money in there. And so when you're talking to the customers and they have questions, you have to know the correct information to give them. And you also have to know how to tell them what it tastes like. When you're a barista, you have to have at least tried everything one time in order to be able to explain the taste and the texture to the customer, so that way when they buy it, they know kind of what to expect. And also with customer service, there's a lot of times that customers will come in there and they might be upset or whatever. You have to know how to handle those certain situations, and you know how to handle making sure they're happy and they get what they want. Because being a barista, you have to know how to talk to the public, but also you have to know how to do great teamwork within the other baristas, because you have to work together, because one person cannot do it all on their own, because it would be very overwhelming. So you have to know how to interact with the different baristas, and you need to know, the main thing is how to communicate, because when you communicate correctly, then the work gets done correctly, and it'll all kind of flow and lay itself in place. Because when you're working for the public, when you're serving that many people, it's important to be able to talk to them and ask them questions and be respectful to each other. Because if you do not do those, which I have experienced this, is that things they will not run smoothly, and then you have a lot of tension between the different team members, and it doesn't stay just between us, that transfers to the customers, because when you got a lot of tension, you have a lot of unhappy people that don't perform as well at their jobs. Therefore, a lot of times they'll mess up on the drinks, or either they won't care that they messed up, and then that makes the customer unhappy, and it makes them more likely to not come back. And so you just got to make sure that there's great communication, because being a barista at Starbucks can be hard, or it can be easy. It is what you make it, but overall, it is a very good job.